artists and writers like me. From Herman Melville to John Cage, from Frank Stella to Gabriele Rothko, writers, musicians and artists have been drawn to the enigma of the whale and what it may or may not represent. The whale as a muse for artists, where do you think that comes from?
There's a politics involved in the idea of the whale. I mean, it makes us look at our environment. But also I think that there's a romantic element as well, and I think that art is, you know, although it's political, is also a poetic material, poetic medium. And I think the whale fits very nicely into a sort of romantic way of looking at things.
Every generation of artists approaches the whale in a different way. For centuries, whales were spouting, roaring, horned monsters to be feared. From the biblical book of Genesis to medieval depictions of Jonah, there are as much myth as reality.
The whale itself is quite folklorish, and I've used the whale before in an etching that I did, which was like a bit of sailor's art, like a bit of scrimshaw. I wanted to try to incorporate the whale actually, like physically, somehow in the work.
Of course, scrimshaw was the teeth of a sperm whale, which the sailors used to etch during their long voyages and then rub soot black in to highlight. But the real interaction between humans and whales began in the 18th century as the animals were hunted for their oil. Whaling ships set out from almost every European port. Here on the south bank of the Thames, the biggest dock of its kind was built to receive